muna. Good. Okay. So, all right. Let's pretend you also did not see that. But hello, good evening, everyone. So again, I'm Andre. I'll stop introducing myself first because I have a slide for that. So today I'll be talking about designing with crafted data. So TLDR, it's like, yeah, I use ChatGPT to help me with my job as a UI UX analyst at my work. I'd like to invite everyone to also think of this as, it's not a too formal a session. You can think of it as something a bit casual. The chat is open. If you have comments, questions, etc., feel free to drop it in chat. I cannot promise to respond to it immediately. I see the Q&A has started, so you can use that feature as well. Feel free to give reactions in the chat. I may or may not notice them, but if needed, we have a Q&A section later on as well. So, okay, thanks, G, got it. So yeah, designing with crafting data. Today I'll be talking about 5 things. So first is the introduction. Will introduce myself, why I wanted to volunteer and help, talk about this topic. What makes me credible? Am I credible? Who knows? Hopefully you'll know by later. Second part is getting to know LLMs. Like, what is an LLM? Or more of, in this case, it's ChatGPT, but it's also how I got to know LLMs at the start. Because you'll be surprised. It's not like when ChatGPT came out, I was already using it immediately. Next is I'd like to share learnings from a book called Co-Intelligence, just the big highlights from it, and how I was able to apply it to be able to maximize the use of LLMs, or, well, I guess mostly ChatGPT in my case, and of course, closing thoughts at the end. So let's jump into it. Introduction. That is me in a bigger version. So hello, that's me. That's when I was in Config APAC, so Figma's first conference in the Asia Pacific. So I am a UI UX analyst, as introduced by Francis. So I'm a UI UX analyst by title, which means I'm pretty much a UX designer who can also wrangle data and make dashboards. So that is actually partly my superpower, that I've spent a lot of time getting my hands dirty with technical work as well. So that's why I'm now a designer who specializes in, data stuff, because I have my experience working with those technical things. So what does a UI UX analyst's work look like? So here are, of course, dashboards might be the first things you'll imagine. So it's like, what chart types do we use? What's the story? How do we imagine the users? What do they need to find out? What do they need to ask or learn about their data? And what charts are we going to use for those? Do we use a line chart? Do we use a scatter plot that's two-dimensional, or maybe even a one-dimensional scatter plot? Do we use a map or not? What are the main scorecards that we'd like to put in? Aside from dashboards, though, it's not like I only work on dashboards. We also have, very data-centric web apps as well. So the example here is, this is like, well, as you might see, sorry, it's intentionally a bit small. But let's say we have a fictitious company called Tiger Lily Manila. I just wanted it to spell TM. And let's say we have here, like, we can see our data. We have a data set called super realistic financial data. Very realistic. Let's say the client says, oh, I want you to add a new feature to this custom built tool where we can trigger an API call within the app. So like, when you press to make an API call, it leads you to a new page. What does the flow look like? So this, feels like a usual UX designer work. Not on the slides. I did a bunch of paper mockups first, talked about it with the product manager as the representative of our users, standard UX stuff. But I think what's interesting here is like, okay, what do we need to show here? Like, if we have a bajillion columns, do we actually need to show a bajillion columns here? And what if there are so many results here? We need to consider pagination. For example, what information do we need to tell to the user if We have to worry about API limits and stuff like that. And of course, they wanted an email also to trigger to let the admins know if they're approaching the limit. It's there. Um, we've also been working with like Chat GPT, etc. as it came out. So this is like an early sketch we had. Of course, it was the client logo here, but I'll sanitize it. And here, let's say this magical company, Tiger Lily Manila, also has an investment arm. Wow, galing naman ng company na to. So what if they wanted, imagine ChatGPT 3.5 was just starting out, and then we suggested, oh, what if we make the homepage more minimalist, a la Google, so it can't go wrong. The user will just have to type in their query or their question and press enter. And then, the usual chat app, it really doesn't need to look like a different app. It's a chat app. What if we keep it as a chat app? And of course, we also would make custom GPTs for our clients until now. If you're interested, let me know. Wink, corporate marketing wink. Anyway, the point is that we have been working with ChatGPT apps as we go. But interestingly, it took me a while before I actually started to use ChatGPT. So how did I start getting to know LLMs? So yeah, what can I help with? Well, I don't know, just simple questions like how many R's are there in a strawberry, or what else can I ask? Which mammal lays the largest eggs? Or I don't know, can you explain to me what Figma is? So let me switch to ChatGPT. Can Okay, audience interaction. Can you guys type in chat yes or no if you've used ChatGPT? Just a quick yes or no. I see 2 yeses, 3, 4, 5. I can no longer count. Yeah, you can use either ChatGPT or Anthropic or Gemini, or if you have an AI girlfriend, I guess that also counts. So it seems like we have a lot of yeses in chat. But what did I say again? Yeah, can you explain to me what Figma is? So you guys probably know what's happening here. So it looks like it's typing, 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 right? And it's clever. That animation is very clever for me because it actually also hints at how ChatGPT works behind the scenes. It's worth mentioning, ChatGPT doesn't actually think. It's AI, but what's happening behind the scenes is it's just supplying what's the next most likely word that will complete the sentence. So can you explain to me what Figma is? Figma is a collaborative design tool primarily used, etc. Similarly, if I say like, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy, so most of you guys might have thought of the word dog, and well, ChatGPT is smarter, so it's like, I know what you're doing. Dog is the word, and something like that. Main point here is that that's how ChatGPT works. It adds in, it doesn't think, it just, tries to predict what's the most likely next word to finish the sentence. So Chi, you're right. It's like Chi mentioned in chat. It's like fancy autocomplete. So yes, fancy autocomplete lang siya. But what's interesting is that OpenAI and the other companies had a lot of training data so that it becomes a really smart and a really good autocomplete. So those are, some questions. Personally, I've also started what helped me get into using ChatGPT more are my specific use cases also. Like for example, I love using ChatGPT as a language learning companion. So for example, in Indonesian, so I went to Indonesia earlier this year. And then what's important here that yes, Salamat Pagi, or now it's Salamat Malam, if there are any Muslims or Malaysians here, I think it's a similar language. What's important, however, in ChatGPT and why it's powerful for learning languages is you can supply context as well. So if I heard the waiter say the word silakan somewhere, like, yeah, stingray? What? I don't think he said stingray. So if I search on Google Translate, let's type it in so it looks realistic. So silakan just means please. Why did the waiter say please to me out of, when I was going in? So apparently it means please, but it says go ahead. So I'm able to supply, oh yeah, it was the waiter that said it to me. It was in the context of a restaurant. And then ChatGPT allows me to understand better what does silakan mean? How do I respond to silakan? I can say terima kasih or saya akan pesan sekarang, etc. So, it's like, okay, I get this now, this ChatGPT thing, it's helpful. And you may have heard of it also that it can be used in coding. So this is a Jupyter notebook. What's interesting here is that now here in where I can type my code, let me zoom in a bit. In where I can type my code, it now says generate with AI. Wow. So how do I sort the rows of a table using the months of a date column? So after that, I press enter, and then it actually, says all of it gives code that may or may not work. It may be subject to a license. Interesting. And then what's interesting is that it actually takes in the context of whatever I've already typed in the notebook. Honestly, I don't use this that much because the success, your mileage may vary. It's not necessarily that you'll always be successful when using it, but it still saves a lot of time. When you're um, coding, and what if it's just a simple question? Maybe a quick check like that can help. As a designer, I started using it also, not just ChatGPT, but for example, this slide I presented in a friend's wedding. Yes, we had to present slides. She's a coworker, so it was funny. Fun fact here is that only the middle part is actually a real image, and the rest is actually AI generated. So this was during the time when Adobe Firefly was still free. So I supplied the vertical image, and then I use generative fill on the sides. And when I was saying generous, it's gibberish here on the sides, and that's how you know it's AI generated. But hey, just hide it behind the opaque black rectangle, and it helps. And this is how I solved how to get my portrait picture into a landscape slide. This one next is probably very familiar for you guys. So one of my projects that I worked on was something related to healthcare. So it's just a simple form, quote unquote simple form. There's a lot of copy here, and I wanted it to have, like, for example, there's a section here for filling in the vital signs of the patient, or medical history and treatment of the patient. That's a lot of words and a lot of copy that I was not just lazy to come up with manually, but also like maybe I can be more helpful with my suggestions, like what's unexpected input there. I'm not a doctor though, so I don't know what a healthy blood pressure, healthy oxygen saturation is, etc. So I can ask ChatGPT or any AI to help me come up with those. And it's actually like doing a sort of due diligence also, because at least I don't make up, BS or fake numbers, figures, etc. Anywhere. Yeah. Galing talaga ng Tiger Lily Manila. They also have a hospital, apparently, but I digress. And last but not the least, just, I feel a lot of you have also done this, but it's like, brainstorming in general. Like, what if you want to ask, yeah, can you help me come up with chatbot names that sound friendly or smart? Can you help me make a modern color palette? Or, can you help me come up with prompts so I can show people how to use ChatGPT as a designer, etc. Very interesting. But that was only scratching the surface. It got deeper when I started applying learnings from this book called Co-Intelligence by Ethan Mollick. If I wanted to summarize it in one go, it's just to treat AI as if it were human, because in many ways it behaves like one. So two key quotes from here is that, where previous tech revolutions, they would target mechanical and repetitive work, AI is not the same. Like the calculator helped with repetitive calculations in math. Programming helped with, let's say the boring parts of drawing or animation. We can automate it, right? Accounting, instead of doing all those calculations by hand, we can use a calculator or coding or accounting software. AI now, or like in this case, Gen AI or ChatGPT, excels at very human tasks, Remember how I said where it just, tries to finish your sentence or tries to supply the missing information to please you? The book actually says, you can think of ChatGPT as a universally good intern, a really smart intern who infinitely wants to please you. When you think about it, that's actually pretty accurate of how it works. And ChatGPT might also lie to get you to be happy. Also sounds pretty human, if you ask me. Yes, people pleaser si AI. That is literally a good summary to it, actually. So the book also goes on to say four key principles uh, about sorry, it can be summarized in four key principles, and it was also presented in the book. Surprise kayo, no? May research ako. So one, always invite AI to the table. Try involving AI no matter what you do. So I only recently applied this also. I didn't need to have all the answers already as I was like, starting to interact with the AI. Even if I'm brainstorming, I will brainstorm with ChatGPT. To truly know the limits also of AI, you just gotta experiment it yourself because it's really hard to actually clearly demarcate or separate what is possible and impossible with AI. So the solution, you always invite AI to the table where possible. Second key principle, core principle, is to be the human in the loop. So you guys are right. People pleaser see AI. So it's likely that AI will hallucinate because that is how it's created. It doesn't think on itself. It just says the most likely next word. That's why the book says it's like a co-intelligence. It's like an intern. It's like an alien who knows all of our words, what makes logical sense of what's the next word, but it doesn't think. So it by design, yes, it will hallucinate. So that's why you must be the human in the loop. You must verify it yourself. Be able to work with it without being taken in by it. That is a nice summary from the book. Implicitly, also, there is a loop. So, it's expected, it's normal. There is going to be a back and forth of sorts. Third principle is to treat AI like a person, but tell it what kind of person it should be. Treat it as a smart intern who wants to please you, but do you want it to be a smart intern? Maybe you want it to talk like an MBA prof, or for some reason you want it to talk like a circus clown, or you want it to talk like your teacher or a very motivating coach or someone who gives no bullshit. All of those actually do matter when you talk to the chat gpt, when you talk to the gen AI or the large language model, LLM, etc. So yeah, it depends. Treat it like a person, but tell it what kind of person it should be. And last is to assume that it's the worst AI you'll ever use for now, because positively it'll only get better for here. And once again, you have to always invite AI to the table to be up to date, to adapt, to learn, and to stay competitive. Implicitly also, it's the worst so far. So it reinforces that you have to be the human in the loop. You have to always do your due diligence. Pretty cool, right? Those are nice 4 points, but let's apply it to see, let's see it in action. So my problem at the time is that we needed a realistic demo, um, because we had the hospitality dashboard, but we wanted to sell it to other clients. But we can't use client data because privacy. So we have like line charts, we have important numbers here, sorry, the scorecards, key metrics for each of their departments, some time series charts to show the performance over time. Then if I wanted to see rooms, so there's a room specific page also with, what if specific sections for who the guests are. Maybe it's just my trauma speaking, but when we talked to one of our early clients, they could not understand what a mock-up was. Like, bro, it's not meant to be realistic. It's a mock-up. I feel a lot of you might have struggled with the same. We felt that, especially because we're a data company. So like, guys, mock-up, chill lang, please. But the point stands that if we're gonna sell this to people, we want them to buy it. Of course, we want it to look realistic. It needs to look believable. So I needed realistic data. But it turns out it's not that simple to make. Or maybe it's just in my condition. So for example, this scorecard, total operating revenue. So financially, maybe we have one table of finances. We have room revenue here. So we have that one row and we have that across multiple days. Just add them all up. You have the total revenue. Easy. But realization, travel is a seasonal business. It needs, there are peak seasons and off-peak seasons. So to be realistic, it has to follow some logic. So that's solvable, sure. With our, with a tool called Mockaroo, we can supply a formula for it to follow the peak season, off-peak season, sure. But then that's only one part of the dashboard. For example, the occupancy, it's made up of number of rooms sold divided by number of available rooms. Sure, we have a room inventory per day table. So this room on this day is either occupied, vacant, or out of service. How do we know if it's occupied? Maybe we'll have another table where it says this room is booked on this day by this guest. But when you think about it, hotels probably don't track bookings like that. They track bookings in contiguous blocks of days. You don't just book for one day usually, or you'd probably book for a few days. So yes, how the tables have turned into more tables. Correct, Andy. Oh, by the way, have I mentioned they also have to be interdependent? Like the revenue here, the total revenue has to link with the bookings. And bookings also need to have rules. Like a guest can't have two bookings at the same time. A room cannot be booked twice by the same within the same period. It gets so complicated. I'm like, oh my God. I thought my job was easy, just to make random data. It wasn't that easy. Solution, let's ask ChatGPT. So I was like, that's pretty long, so let's dissect it a bit. So please help me make synthetic data to demonstrate the capabilities of a hospitality dashboard. So I'll focus on the important parts. I invited AI to the table because I wasn't sure yet of what's the, like, how much I wasn't. So initially, when I was starting out, I was like, I need to iron out everything in my head before I start talking to ChatGPT. This is the first time where I was able to apply what Ethan Mollick said. I invite AI to the table. I'll use you first for info gathering while I prepare the data. Let's not talk about code first. Be the human in the loop. So it's going to be an iterative process. It's going to be a dialogue. I'm not going to think of one super prompt and my problem is solved. It's going to be a dialogue. It's going to be a loop. It's going to be iterative. It's going to be a conversation. 3 is that I will treat AI like a person. This is kind of mannerism of mine. Like, look at my first words. I was like, please help me. And my friend who was like an expert prompt engineer, he was like, Andre, you don't need to say please. It's just a waste of tokens. Yeah, there are some studies, I think, that start to show that if you're being more polite, it will help it perform better. But, do your own research. I, for one, will be polite in case the AI uprising goes on in the future. Just kidding. Don't quote me on that. Oh, no. It's recorded, but I'll keep going. Anyway, it's my style. I use please, and I do treat it like a human. But I do tell it what kind of person it should be. Like, use the parts of your knowledge relevant to running a hotel. You have a good idea of realistic numbers. You can ask me for more additional context if needed, and talk briefly first. Don't show me code or steps unless I ask. And last but not the least, assume it's the worst AI for now. So I explicitly say, please avoid hallucination. Feel free to say if you are unaware or unsure about something, and you'll be surprised. This actually does work. Saying don't hallucinate actually helps it not hallucinate. And it said, okay, understood. You want me to help you? Sure, game, pare. And I'm like, sige, G. So let's start. This is my hotel profile. What is a possible setup of the hotel for this? Boom, it says so many things. So now, I got tired of animating here. So let us move quickly to ChatGPT. It's here. So look at this long, long conversation. But don't worry, we won't go through everything word for word. What's interesting here for me is it's very detailed. Okay, given what you said, let's have 80 rooms in the hotel. There are multiple kinds of rooms, so let's do this split. If you want an occupancy of 70%, this should be your annual room nights, your revenue, annual nights revenue, etc. It's very detailed. And take note also that it thought for 38 seconds. So I had to wait for 38 seconds before it gave its answer. So in this case, at least, it seems like it did take its time to think. It's a surprisingly well thought out answer. I'm collaborating with it. So I was like, how many, for each star level of a hotel, how many rooms would each have? And then it, explained its logic. What does it mean if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5-star hotel? Are the numbers I gave, so assume it's the worst AI yet. So again, I was still a bit new in using ChatGPT here, so I double checked. Hey, ito pa rin numbers natin ha, do you remember? And it does remember. Like, yes, it's plausible. Given what I said, it's in sync with this. Here is why. And it sounds very reasonable. And then this is the part where I was like, sige, time for me to code, wherein, we can have ChatGPT code na lang. So this was before my moment of realization. That's a lot. So let's go back to the slides and I'll give you a summary of it. So one thing to notice is, oh yeah, so it's funny. I was like, oh my God, I have to go through my whole conversation to come up with an outline to share it for today's talk. If only there was a way to do it more quickly. There was, chat, there was. So, oh yeah, I used ChatGPT 01 preview when it was still in preview mode at the time. But lately I've been using, even if you use ChatGPT 4.0, it also works. So yeah, okay, there's a quick way to summarize. So I asked ChatGPT, please summarize for me what happened in our whole conversation. So to summarize, we started with, initial, like what are the realistic hotel numbers? Like what do they look like? What are the star levels? And then I asked like, and then this is the part where I switched back from ChatGPT to the slides. So I actually started defining what the table could look like for the bookings. So I'm supplying my knowledge, my suggestions to have ChatGPT work from it. But explicitly, like, let's not think about coding yet. Let's just talk first about what should the table structure look like. ChatGPT actually gave nice suggestions. Maybe you want this and that column, and it actually helped. And then so some, I guess, data domain knowledge. It's like, if I want to model what's the usual like length of stay of customers, how do I randomize that? Is it a normal distribution or should I use a Poisson distribution? And like we had a lengthy discussion, like, yes, use Poisson distribution. And you may also use these other ones, but I think Poisson is the best. So I went with that. How about the unique guests? How many of them are there? So let's also have that. And it was only then, this is what I want to emphasize. It was only here, like late and around 60% into the conversation, that I said, okay, let's start generating data. So I took the time to dialogue, to converse, to discuss with ChatGPT on like, yeah, let's establish all the context first, and before that, saka natin i-start mag-code. Let's write Python code together, please. Relaunch, okay. So I said, start writing Python code. Well, I can't find it. But yeah, I said something like, okay, now let's start writing the code. And then that's when it started generating its code also. Okay, I remember now, thanks to my notes. Can you try to write? So imagine the message is this long, but it was only here that I started. Can you try to write a Python script that makes a data set that would fulfill all of this that we've talked about? And yeah, notice how it only thought for a couple of seconds, because that means ChatGPT was already thinking about it along the way. Yes, Here is your code. Blah 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 blah. Word vomit. Sorry, code vomit. And then expect it's the worst AI so far, so it will make mistakes. Or maybe there are ways that I'd like to improve it. Here are the following changes I'd like you to make. Certainly, let's do that. And then I would like double check also. So in my scripting notebook, I'd also have checks. For example, double check if there are duplicate bookings, the one that I mentioned a while ago, and then check if it makes sense. One guest had 8 different bookings for a year. Does that make sense? Either I check it here via code or I'll check with ChatGPT itself. Like, hey, totoo ba to? Does this make sense? Etc. Or here, for example, I noticed that double booking was still happening. I'll say, can we make this not happen, please? Absolutely. It's crucial for realistic data generation. Obvious ba? But again, assume it's the worst AI so far. So be the human in the loop, verify it yourself. So after that, I asked some more questions about a Python library. Could I have done it with that? I have more data sets to think about that to needed modification to this original script. So now there's a Python coding part 2 part. It's OOS is out of service. It's like, you can't book a room that's out of service. I forgot to account for that. But thankfully, with ChatGPT there, I was able to just, I didn't, ChatGPT did most of the heavy lifting of updating the code. So I think again, note how I wanted code. I needed fake data, but only 2 blocks of those actually involve like the coding part. Everything else was talking, discussing, etc. And I think one quick tip I'd like to share with you all is saving. So I would actually say, uh, can you recap for me what we've talked about so far? So think of it as a save point in a video game. See, very comprehensive recap. Please recap our current state for me again. And that's how I am able to transfer from this conversation, all the context, all the learnings, all that we've discussed about into a new, different conversation. And I think that's a very useful technique to also have. Oh, and I asked for the recap as raw markdown so I can copy paste it easily to a different window. So yeah, closing thoughts. It's really just co-intelligence. For rather, learnings from the book Co-Intelligence. Treat AI as if it were human because in many ways, it does act like one. Invite AI to the table whenever you can. I invite you guys to also try to use it more day to day. Be the human in the loop. So be able to work with AI without being taken in by it. Be the verifier. Have a healthy dose of uh, what's the word? Skepticism with it. Because again, by design, it will hallucinate. Treat AI like a person, but tell it what kind of person it should be. Give it a personality or a behavior. I wanted, someone knowledgeable in hotel business. So I tell ChatGPT, please be someone good with hotel business. And I assume this is the worst AI so far because it will only get better from here. And it's up to us to also adapt and keep learning and use it as a tool to help us maximize our own work also. So that is designing with crafted data. I wanted this to not just be showing what I did, but also teaching how to maximize using LLMs, ChatGPT, etc. I hope you enjoyed that talk. And thank you guys. Q&A is open. Chat is also open. Thanks.
Right. Yes. Thanks for that, Andrew. That was really insightful. And while you were talking, that made me think about a lot of things. So, I mean, I have a question. I have some questions here for you. One is that now that you, now it seems like your use with AI has like supercharged how you're working, or like it's made things a lot more efficient for you. How do you see your job now and like your career path now that you have this thing with you at all times that could uh, help you with almost an infinite amount of things?
Yeah. I so I think it's worth acknowledging first that there are a lot of thoughts that are like, oh no, AI is gonna take over our jobs, etc. I think that's a very real possibility, but I don't think that's near yet. And for me, for example, I'm not really afraid of losing my job because as an AI, as a ChatGPT power user myself, I know that it's I still have to verify it. It can give a lot of things that sound plausible, but they don't actually make sense when you think deeply about it. So I think the best way to use AI is really a tool to help you supercharge your own work. I had to think of copy for a screen with a bajillion little help texts and subtitles. I will use ChatGPT to help me write those. Maybe I need more ideas. I can use ChatGPT to brainstorm with me. However, it doesn't eliminate the need for me as a designer to be able to discern, does it make sense? Like if it gives mock-up ideas, does it make sense? Should this button be there? Should that picture be there? I think my main point is it's going to be a tool to help us. So it will help us a lot in our work, but not to the point where it replaces us. And I think that's also why I am trying to emphasize also to, keep working with AI so that you are more mindful of its limits, of its capabilities as well. Yeah. Did I answer your question? I hope I didn't ramble
I
too
think so.
much.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you made some good points, and I feel like you touched on a bit of like something I was thinking about. Of like, do you think it's like how do you avoid becoming too over reliant on using AI or using ChatGPT?
Yeah. So funny, but I literally like think about that at least once a week.
It's like I
Because
need
it's
it. I
like,
need it.
yeah, yeah, and it's a very real problem. Um, to answer your question, it's just actively fight against being over reliant on it. Like, for example, if I'm brainstorming things, for example, I have a task, make a food delivery app. Maybe instead of just jumping into ChatGPT and having it think for me, I will think first on my own. What should I have? What are the key features? Also, ChatGPT, LLMs, etc., are not meant to be a substitute for user research. It's still there. Exactly, Chi. We still have our own brains. Um, Richard's suggestion is also correct.
Yeah.
Just turn off the website. And
Close
that's
the
the
tab.
thing. Sometimes it's not within our control. Like just 2 days ago, I think ChatGPT was down. We're still reliant on an external service. Like there were so many posts on Reddit. They were like, "Oh my God, ChatGPT is down. We're screwed." And there were also lots of funny comments that were like, "Haha, somewhere out there, some college students are panicking because they can't submit their essay." You don't want to be a panicking college student or your own equivalent of that. So yeah, Chi sums it up really good. Yeah, Chi sums it up pretty well. We just have to use our own brains. And again, assume it's the worst AI you'll ever use. It might be wrong. So you have to do your own part of verifying and thinking. Don't let it think for you. It can it can help you think, but don't let it completely think for you.
Okay. Well, you mentioned Chi. Chi actually has a question here in the Q&A.
Come
So
on.
once you got the data from ChatGPT, how did this fit into the Figma prototype? Or did you go straight to coding for the prototype?
Oh, hold on. I'm losing it. Okay. Let's God. How did this fit into the Figma prototype? So yes. Okay, great. Figma plug. So this is why I love Figma because it always has community plugins. So my favorite is a plugin called Many Paster. I'll type it somewhere. Share screen. I think I'll share something illegal. So I will
Okay.
be careful about that first. But I'm thinking now of somewhere I can put it. I have to be careful. I actually have NDAs. Yeah, so while it's loading, so my workflow is usually to just type it on ChatGPT and then copy paste it into Figma. So for example, um, what's a good share screen? Okay, share entire screen of my first screen. Okay. So for example, let's say this table I want to update it. So let's say it's now instead of Quezon City, it's now Makati. Pare. So what if it's Makati,
Nice.
pare? So we can make a new table, make new chat rather. Hi, please make me a table of, and I'd say something like with these columns, barangay, potential yield, percent, customer served, square meters of area, potential sales na lang to, PHP. Barangay, make these barangays in Makati. Square meter of area, km squared. Um, please make 10 rows and decreasing potential sales. Or let's say we didn't say that and see what happens. Please make 10 rows. Okay, thanks, bye. Um, oh no, I'm using O1. O1. So thinking. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, it's there na. Poblacion, Bel Air, San Lorenzo, Urdaneta, etc. So it seems to be sorted descending already. Let's say make the sales look more random. So not ending in 5 or 0.
Oh.
That's just a quick example. I'm not even sure if these numbers are correct. So while that's happening, I'll open like Google Sheets, for example. I might need to. Oh, it's gonna make a new one. Barangay. Ayan, wow, so realistic. It's not ending in 0 or 5. I guess it's random. Um, then we can make now mini paster. So it's my favorite plugin from Figma. Okay. Ay, does this work? Oh, wait. Tama. Bobo ako. Um, okay. So we can paste it here. Chanan. So it's a table now. So I'll just do it medyo manually. Uh, uh, come on. You can do it, Figma. There we go. So I did the control, then drag to select only those specific text. Paste data. Chanan. So I just do that for all of the different
Ah,
columns. Many paster. Thank
wow.
you.
Okay.
And yeah, I can keep doing that for the others as well. However, um, do I say the Figma AI stuff or kayo na later?
Uh,
No
yeah, you
go.
can go. You can go first. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is, I don't think this was planted. But that is me using like this is me using ChatGPT separately and then trying to put it into Figma. But in the future, we like one of the cool upcoming features of Figma. Oh, confidential. Where's my non-confidential? Here we go. So Figma AI, you're in good company. So so you can check it here. No, it's okay. I hid all the actual confidential things. I'm saying it just to be funny. Um, so Figma is actually working on Figma AI, and it can, you can check it out. I sent the link in chat. So you can make your mockup straight up. And I think this is the most applicable to what we just talked about now. So you can have AI sweat the details of like writing down like these copy. So you can check the old videos from the last Figma config as well from their conference. They also mentioned like they show it in action. So you can look at You can look it up on YouTube if you want to see it in one go. So this workflow, look at it, it's just doing the extending to like duplicate the elements. And so I'm doing this but manually. So I like to frame it in a way that's like, I don't have access to Figma AI yet because it's in beta. But that doesn't stop me from being able to apply AI into Figma. Yeah. And yeah, correct, Chi, that it's still rolling out to users gradually, slowly. Yeah.
Okay. We have a question here from Bernard. When you post the sample data, when you paste the sample data, do you have to update the chart mockups also manually?
The sample
Like,
data, the chart mockups need to be updated manually. Yes. So that is the life of us designers. That's why it's a mockup, Mr. Client and or customer. But yeah. So in that case, like, so you can think of it was a mock-up, so it's really just a picture. It's like a glorified picture. So yeah, when I updated the numbers in the table, it doesn't update anything else. It doesn't update a database of sorts. It's all manual. So we have actually had painstaking nights and days where we actually had to just even like click on the line chart, click, okay, move the point higher so it looks realistic. Yeah, I guess to contextualize, like, well, again, it's a mock-up, right? So in this exercise, for example, like, I made a synthetic data, but the end goal wasn't just for Figma. It was meant to be a real data set that we can, make a real dashboard out of. Yeah. Sorry, but yeah, to answer your question, no. Yes, it needs to be updated manually.
okay. And I think you also kind of touched on this point where you guys spent like nights, uh, painstakingly adjusting these things. So are you working in a team, and does each person have their own like conversation going on uh with ChatGPT, and they're like, no, because my ChatGPT says this, but my your chat says this. Is there?
Yeah. Admittedly, it hasn't affected me yet. Like, different people using ChatGPT. I do think we're approaching that level of, normalcy of AI in the future. Yeah. I think I'm not sure. I don't have a super smart answer or a wise answer to say to that, other than like other tools that we come to learn and use. It's going to be a new tool for us to learn as well. Most likely, I see it as, for example, it's like even if we're a team of three designers working on a hospitality dashboard, I don't need necessarily to share with them the context or my conversations with ChatGPT because we're all still unified by our output of a single mockup on Figma. So it's like, it's grounded in the same output anyway. So as long as we each do our like due diligence, then we're all unified by the final output anyway. And how we get there may be slightly different with each person, but it's fine. Did I make
Yeah,
sense? Sorry.
yeah. That's the Figma plug where you can't do everything in ChatGPT. You got to use Figma with the multiplayer designing, to work that out. Okay. Uh, does anybody else have any other questions? I feel like, oh, I believe there's a question here.
I'll jump in lang then, just in case we wanna segue to the Figma AI thing. But yeah, go lang. But thank you so much then as well, Andre, for sharing your experience, and I guess that also for that plugin. Ngayon ko lang din nakita yun, and meron ako iba ginagamit for connecting sheets or sorry, tables to Figma to connect it to the mockups and stuff. But then it's a Google Sheets thing. So ngayon ko lang nakita yung many paster, which technically makes sense. But yeah, okay.
We have a question here from Carlo. What version of ChatGPT can free accounts use?
All right.
Because I
Yes,
see that
that is a
sometimes it's like
question.
Uh,
oh 04 or like oh 01. Like what?
yeah, so I think they're. I think you can use all of them, but only in limited amounts. Like you only have a set number of queries or questions that would refresh either every day or every week. So when yeah, like for myself, for example, I relatively late din ako na actually nag-subscribe to premium. It was when I was traveling in Indonesia, and then I realized, oh my God, okay, I actually need this. It's actually helpful. Fine, I'll bite the bullet and pay. And it actually, yeah, helped a lot. Yeah. I think they have like different limits every meron siyang per day na limit, meron din ata siyang weekly or monthly na limit. Yeah.
Okay.
For
Sorry,
the
nanggaling lang for fintech parang, parang daily limits sa credit card transactions. Well, kinakain na ako ng trabaho ko. But anyway. Okay. Ay, Andre, question. Have you used any other thing, like any other AI LLM so far other than ChatGPT? Kasi, I mean, either for your personal work or for, in the office, like, is there any work sanction AI tool na ginagamit sa inyo or wala naman?
ah
If that's fine to share. I don't know if
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like NDA
It's
level.
okay lang. Um Personally, I use ChatGPT most often only because I'm subscribed to it and sayang naman bayad ko if I use other ChatGPTs also. Um, Lots of people have recommended like yung kay Anthropic, yung Claude as a good alternative. I think one feature that's there is yung you can organize into like folders, right? I hate that
Yeah.
feature in ChatGPT.
Wala
Uh,
so wala pa yun sa
yeah,
ChatGPT?
wala. As in, I have to manually rename the conversations, and then I'm actually
Ah,
very mindful na parang kunyari, ito yung Indonesian ko, ito yung French ko na chat, ito yung Chinese na chat, for example. And like, iba pa rin eh kung may folders ka na.
oo.
And I think powerful din kasi yung you have a different context in each. So for example, what if I'm working on different projects? I don't want context of project A to affect the context of project C, for example. What if magkaiba sila completely? Yeah.
Mm.
Um, Interesting you asked also about the kung may corporate sanctioned. So we do have like our internal ChatGPT. Like we had the parang chatgpt.thinkingmachines.com or something like that.
So
Um,
yun yung group chat GPT niyo?
Not
Or
exactly.
not really?
You can think of it as ano lang, like same siya as ChatGPT pa rin, pero what happens is na no confidential stuff gets sent to
Ah,
OpenAI. So under
alright, because
the
puwede
chat.
yung internet sa ChatGPT, 'di ba? Right.
Correct, yeah. So you can think of it now, we have our own ChatGPT deployed in our server. So when the user messages something and it goes here, it gets cleaned up so that nothing confidential goes to the client. No, nothing confidential
Go to
goes to OpenAI's
OpenAI.
servers, etc.
Can
So
you ano ba? Can you like just have it like an offline thing ba? Like alam ko kasi meron puwedeng mga LLMs that can run, like in isolation, but I don't know if that's something na meron sa inyo.
I think I wouldn't know the exact technicals, but I think the short answer is yes, meron. In fact,
Okay.
okay, I guess corporate plug wink again is that so it's one of our offerings actually to clients. Like, what if they would want an in-house ChatGPT? So it's actually one of our services then na they can we can actually build one for you. Parang ganun. And you actually don't necessarily need to order your own graphics cards, etc. Especially nowadays, it's all in the cloud. Kasi, so you won't be making. So when I say we have our own ChatGPT, it's more accurate to say kung ano man yung big ChatGPT nila ni OpenAI, we get a copy of it kumbaga or like some version of a some kind of copy of it,
You mean an instant or not really? Is that your
something
word
like
that you're
that.
looking for?
Yeah, I'm trying to. to strike a balance between technical and non-technical. And admittedly, I myself not am not as aware. Um, Actually, yeah, pwede siyang variant. Yeah, like an instance of like yung main component na ChatGPT, but there are lots of like subtle differences then. Because of course you won't get actually, yeah, let's just leave it as that. Yeah. So my main point is na yeah, you don't necessarily need to like train it on your own machine, especially nowadays. It's all in the cloud.
Okay, okay. Ay, sige. Anyone else have any other questions in the chat or ang question kayo din, I mean, I'm assuming Andre and also Francis, since you're also here, like you both would be nakagamit ba kayo ng Figma AI other than yung mga napakita na online or something? So, I don't know if do you want Andre to try parang i-feed natin yung data na ginawa mo, ta's try natin i-see if that could be like something that you could generate, make draft something to see like if it would make it easier for you. But I would need your data first, yung ilagay mo na dun sa file na i-she-share ko sa atin. Is everyone else like fine with like this is now kind of technically the talk is done. So thank you again, Andre, for sharing. This now is just the um other things that we can talk about. Sa ngayon, I do have access to Figma AI sa end ko. I see make prototype, first draft, and all of those things. If ever anyone else is interested in seeing that, I could share screen right now, and it's also gonna be technically part of the meetup for the recording. Para lang may reference din kayo what it would be, and I guess na hindi ko din siya na-mention earlier because I forgot about it until now lang. But in case you missed it, Figma also announced new pricing values for those who may be freelancers or are working in small teams. Technically speaking, I'm not sure how the Figma AI features are gonna be put into it. Kasi from what I remember, they were also at least during Config APAC, they were also thinking about how to price Figma AI properly, and of course with um they had blunders the first time around. They were launching Figma AI, so they are probably thinking about it pa more. Pero right now, they do have like an updated pricing plan that includes slides because that was another product that they launched. So, ano, yun lang. Just a heads up lang in case na you want to see how it would work so that eventually once they do finally decide upon amongst themselves how they're gonna price the AI features, if they're gonna be included in the main full design seat or not, parang separate subscription siya, I don't know. Parang, you can see for yourself. Sige. Okay. So, game kayo sa
Yeah, I think a
Figma
demo
demo.
would be super helpful.
Okay, sige. So, Andre, I will share this link with you. So, pwede mo bang i-copy-paste yung, ano, wait lang, yung data na nakuha mo doon sa slides mo. Tapos, I will also share screen. Saan na ba yung Figma ko? Ayan, Figma AI.
Sorry, which data are you thinking of? Yung generated at the end of it.
The generated, or I don't know. Well, maybe we can go through this community file together para lang maybe ano ba yung kanina, I think you were saying na I think yung data kasi nun was for the table, 'di ba? So you're creating a dashboard. So I'm wondering kasi na based on the table that you gave, kung pwede na kaya siyang gumawa ng dashboard then and there. But then, pwede naman na hindi. Baka hindi niya kaya because also has
Yeah,
limitations. But we can see how that would go. Ayan.
gets. Admittedly, funny story, pero hindi pa, like, technically, hindi pa created yung data. Like,
Data. Okay.
kumbaga, everything I said, it's like, we were doing it, pero, diba, I was meant to deploy it on a real dashboard. Pero we weren't, due
Ah,
to other more pressing deliverables, hindi siya na-deploy on a real dashboard. However,
okay.
I wonder if even yung, diba, may save point ako, like the
Ah.
context. What if we give that instead? Do you think it's worth trying then kaya?
I mean, we could see, but then just to say then, I guess maybe I'll go through a quick like demonstration lang din based on how I'm also familiar with Figma AI.
Mm-mm.
Kung paano mabibigyan ng context si Figma. Kasi I think that's one of the things na kulang actually sa kanya. So, ito yung community file ng Figma AI na I think na-export ko lang. I don't know if nag-update na sila from then, but then basta mostly all of this yung nakalaman dito. Ang mga nasubukan ko na for sure at ang mga sure akong gumagana ng maayos is uh, more or less. I mean, you know, variable yan. Rename layers, rename layers, yung text tools nila for like either shortening text, lengthening text, changing it to a different language, I guess. But then I'm not really sure if translation wise it sounds okay. Replace content also is, I think, is a pretty goated feature. Yeah, nasubukan ko na yung mga different things na yon and they do work out pretty well for like the repetitive tasks. So, for example, Andre, di ba, dun sa prototype mo, you do have the, what do you call this, the table. So if you wanted to like generate a bunch of different rows that you already had like one table of, or maybe two rows pala, sorry, two rows in your table that had like different random values. If you do replace content or like generate content, it would generate the sample data for you. So at least, hindi mo na kailangan din pag-isipan masyado siya. Tapos you can just do it all here in Figma. I think meron silang demo for that dito eh. Eto, sige. Pakita ko lang muna. This a quick demonstration. Ito yung pa-try it out nila. Pero this one kasi is kind of boring, the data that they have here. So, ano bang pwede kong i-replace dito? Ayan o, so parang, ito lang naman yung point nun. Parang pag kinlik drag mo, it's gonna uh, generate the data for you. So, select that auto layout frame, duplicate. Okay. So, let's see. Ayan. So, nagiging parang may sparkly siya. I cannot zoom into my cursor, but you can see this one, no? Like, if I click this, nagiging may sparkle siya na thingy. Tapos, nadedetect niya lang din usually if the contents are similar. So, I think gagana nga lang siya if kunyari you have the same named layer or the same instance or same component inside of it. So, if dinrag ko to, kunyari gawa tayo ng 5 items, replace content natin sila. So, magre-replace na yung the rest dito ng other things. Tapos, ayun, wala akong ginawa. Nag-click lang ako. Tapos na siya. Ayan, sige. Approve. Edit natin. Ayan. Ayun lang. So, that's like one quick way. Technically, nagawa ko to with an actual prototype that I had to do. For like, yung nangyari was, sabihin na natin, nangyari ito card. It was mostly for like the day in the month. So, that was also pretty easy kasi ang nangyari was, I just needed to go like first of the month. Tapos, I wanted to like generate a bunch of different things na sabay-sabay. So, kunyari, try natin na ganyan. Tapos, double ko. Try ko nga. Tingnan nga natin kung alam na niya yung laman. Ayan. So, mag-auto-generate lang siya. So, if you need this for like drop-downs and stuff, di ba? Kung dati ginagawa natin siya ng marami-rami, di. May way naman na siya to do it with less time. Ito, sabi ni Andy, I wonder if it's context aware for other pages or sections. So right now, no. It's really just what you selected. Generally speaking, kasi dito lang siya mahanap sa itong actions na to. So sabihin na natin, ayan, yung mga make prototype, rename layers, first draft, search with image or selection, or replace content, and then rewrite this. Ano lang siya? It's really just parang new slate siya every time. So, ayun. Except for, I guess, maybe remove background because that would need an image to remove the background for. So, sige. Okay. Ano pa ba kayang pwede nating, pwede mo ba i-try i-pick? Wala ka Andre dun sa file. I was wondering if you could paste the data
I I
para tignan natin. Ha?
I can, but I'm having licensing issues. It seems like hindi ko ma-edit yung file that
Ay,
I
okay. Sorry. Teka. Wait,
um
you should be able to. Okay. Sige. Okay.
I am not worthy, sabi ni Figma.
Oh, no. Hindi, eto. Gawa na lang akong bagong file. Tapos i-share ko na lang sa'yo. Privately. Ayan,
Piracy.
sige. Live tayo.
We shall smuggle someday.
Andre, tan I think ayan nashi-share ko. Sorry napakita yung email mo, iba-blur ko na lang yun sa ano, sa YouTube. So by the way, for the people that are still here, this is recorded nga 'no. So we have a YouTube channel for Friends of Figma Philippines past meetups. So if you are bored and are just looking for inspiration, you can watch our previous meetups. Recorded naman kasi lahat, at least for all of the virtual ones. I don't know yet how we're gonna do recordings for like in-person ones, but then, ayun, that depends. Anyway, okay. Sige. Sige, habang, let me know na lang, Andre, kahit sa chat na lang somewhere if nakita mo pa yung if nakita mo na yung untitled file and if you can paste the stuff na there. So, pakita ko na lang din yung mga other things for Figma AI just as a quick, I don't know, quick impromptu random preview of it. So, yun. Marami na silang in-announce about this and technically marami naman din videos out there na pwedeng mabanood to learn about it. But essentially, ito din naman yung mga I think would be useful features. Etong remove background dati kasi merong remove background. Oh, wala na yung ano, plugin na ginagamit ko. Remove BG. Ito. Ayan. Ito yung dati kong ginagamit na plugin. So this one, the remove BG. This one is may API siya na separate. Tapos you technically could pay for it kasi nga syempre it also does use, I guess, credits. Parang it uses up and space or like processing power to do. Pero by free naman siya, I think, the uses, number of uses. Pero technically speaking, you can also do that with Figma AI na lang. Because it's kind of okay naman. So that's for remove background. Sige, let's go to that first. Sige. Ayan, this is an image. So, kunyari, ni-remove background ko siya. So, I'm gonna click this lang. Tapos, remove background. It's as simple as matatanggal siguro up until this cherry thingy dito sa baba. But let us see. Tinanggal niya pati yung stand. So, ayan. May stand siya dito, pero tinanggal niya, ginawa niyang plato. So, yan. It's useful naman. So, that is the remove background. So, na-demo ko na. Okay, nandito ka na sa file, Andre. Nakita ko. Ayan, ito yung table na meron siya. Tignan natin how first draft actually works because right now, from what they demonstrated in Config APAC, it was something, but then it was also kind of boring personally. Parang, okay, nagawa na nila, pero parang from there, hindi din ako masyado na impressed dun sa nagagawa nun. Pero maybe it could still be like another way to wireframe. But ultimately, the best friend that you have for wireframing is pen and paper or, technically Figma for all of the rectangles that it has unlimited na pwede mo i-draw lang. Pero, ayun, pwede na naman pen and paper if you have that. So, let us try first draft. Okay. Okay. So, mukhang kailangan siyang grounded sa component library. So, mukhang kailangan niya manggaling sa existing na I refuse to say design system. Component library. So, kailangan ata na meron ka munang predefined na panggagalingan. So, sabihin na natin yung site wireframe na lang since it's a website, it's a dashboard. Okay. Hindi ako marunong masyado mag-prompt, pero let's see.
Can
Ano
you
gusto
try
mong...
looking for the components then of this? Because it's actually using a component library
Okay.
already.
Okay. Sige.
Sponsored by Ant Design.
Nice. Don't forget to save, please. Yes, I will not forget. Sige. We'll just use up all of the time until 9 p.m. If you have still time until that, or sa mga taong hindi pa kumakain, kain na kayo. Mag-ano lang tayo. Magta-try lang tayo ng mga different things sa Figma AI. Okay. Sige. Try ko lang muna to habang kinukuha mo siya, Andre. Yung, ano ba? Sige. Try nga natin i-select to. Tapos, create dashboard. Ano nga yung point? Oh, sorry. Ano nga ulit yung point nung nung, they call this, nung dashboard mo? A dashboard showing the summary of the data in the selected table. Try lang natin. Di ko alam kung paano ito gagana. um, Dashboard show the summary of the data in the selected table for ano nga yung point ng table na to ulit, Andre? I forgot lang. Customers or hotels?
Performance per, just let's just say sales per barangay na lang in Makati.
Sales ng ano?
Uh, some random product.
Okay. For the show summary of the data in the selected table, highlighting the um nai-expose ako kasi hindi ko alam minsan ano yung mga words na gagamitin ko para malabas na dashboard showing the summary of the data. Highlighting the highest sales in a barangay. Sige nga, let's see if this will actually like come up with something. Nakaselect ako doon sa columns table. Pero I don't know if this would actually use it in context. So we can all see its scope and limitations. I know that's not the term, pero I forgot lang the term. The kakayahan, the potential of this thing. Okay. Oh, it's just using random numbers. Yung joke time ako nito eh. Okay, so so it's not using the data from the columns that we had earlier. So I guess that makes sense because I guess it wasn't in the prompt. Maybe that's the reason. But it did create something na already from whatever this wireframe is. Teka.
I wonder if
Try
you
ko
can
nga.
say na, can you add to the prompt parang, let's say, Power BI dashboard. Kunyari. I wonder if
Ah,
it'll
sige.
make it more realistic.
Try ko nga na ano. Hala, kailangan ko i-type ulit yung sino. Ay, di, ito pala. Joke lang. Nandito pala siya sa
Next time
dashboard.
pala
Ano,
na
Power
namin,
BI dashboard.
yeah,
Ganyan.
yeah. Just curious.
Na barangay. These are the... what if I try to like place the, ano, these are the data points. I wonder if I copy paste this. Meron ka bang markdown version nito?
No, but I
Wala.
can ask ChatGPT to make it for me.
Sige. Ay, hala, I cannot undo inside this thing. Okay, so it is definitely not yet. Yeah. Sige, ito muna. Na barangay. Kasi parang yung based dun sa pinakita niya kanina, wala man mention of barangay anywhere. So I think it's still very generic in what it's generating. So make that as you, or take that as you may. Parang bahala na kayo kung how you would use this. I guess put the name of the layer where the DP are. The DP? Put the name of the layer. It is what it is. Data points. Put the name of the layer where the data points are. Chi, yes, ano yan? Nandiyan na. Ay, okay. Thanks. Okay. Put the name of the layer where the data points are. I think I will try to like copy paste na lang din muna this is the data mismo doon sa prompt. Kasi medyo hindi ko lang nagigets lang. Ayan, data points in the prompt. Yeah. So these are the data points. Try lang natin. Ay, yeah, sige. Kaya na niyan. Intindihin na niya yung data na yan.
I I realized then we couldn't have used the all the generated data then pala. Kasi sobrang haba nun.
Ah, okay. Oh, it's working. It's working. Unlike me, I'm not working right now. Nakatunga nga lang ako. Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't really ask for much. So, I guess, what do I expect? So, use the text and... Use the text and numbers from layer named layer. Try ko nga. Make changes. Oh, wrong. Oh, okay. So, I guess if you are selected in the the draft that you made, you can also change the style in a way. What is this? Spacing.
Try may change yung colors.
Pwede may change yung color. Pwede siya maging red. Pwede siya maging blue.
Also,
Pwede siya maging dark mode.
I see what
Okay.
happened now. When you said Power BI dashboard, iniisip niya for a
Like,
company called Power
yun
BI.
nga eh. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, okay. So I guess this is a fast way to like create wireframes. But um yeah, I guess it's let me try dito. So each make the changes na lang. So try ko siyang i-make changes. So use the text and numbers from the layer named sandbox biglain to wow. Yan. So may dalawang data dito. It should just read it. I mean, I technically sent it as included in the prompt. Like hindi na rin makita ng ayun, it's part of the prompt. So
disgusting.
tingnan na lang natin. By the way, did you know meron ng horizontal scrolling sa layered panel? Block, try different input.
Planted yan na example. Hell yeah.
Ayan, random lang. Ayun lang. Okay, so ayun niya. Teka. Let's try that again. Last na. Last na. Para lang ano natin. Matignan natin. Ito. Pabalik ako dun sa original prompt ko.
Ay, sorry.
Dashboard showing the summary.
Nag-run na ba
What?
yung using the layer na
Nag-block siya sa akin eh. So, ayaw niya. So, I will just maybe make this a fill. Tapos, follow. Para, sige. Use the data and numbers found in the frame layer column in the Figma file. Dashboard, uh, Mimic, Power BI, the tool. Ayan, sige. Just giving it everything. Make it. Something went wrong. Okay, ayaw na niya. No! Ayaw na niya sa akin. I guess it is like a human. It can quit it sometimes. So, okay. Ayaw na niya mag-make design. Ayaw na niya mag-first draft. So, balik tayo dun sa file.
I have a
Sorry.
question actually about the first
Ah,
draft
sure.
thing there.
Sure.
Like the things that it made, like it's cool that it made it, but do you guys see yourself as like being able to use these what it made as part of like your workflow, or is it just some like fluff that looks cool?
Personally, honestly, it depends. If this can use existing components that, for example, we use in our work, and I guess also understand all of the documentation that's found, assuming that the components itself does have documentation. Usually, that's not the case for like a lot of design systems. Pero assuming na yun yung perfect scenario, then maybe. But then honestly, parang I would only use it for like fun stuff na parang pa-test-test lang. Which is to say, no. I'm not gonna use it
Okay.
kasi hindi ko siya, ba't ko siya
Hmm.
gagawin? I can just do it myself. Parang ganun lang. But it's something lang naman din as a good start. Kaya nga I think kaya nila ni-rename na first draft kasi dati it was just make design. Tapos nag-make design siya ng something that already exists. So kaya nagalit yung internet. So ano, and I guess the data it wasn't really trained properly. So ayun, that's what happened. So yeah,
Okay.
let's try one more time. Um, use the data. Just use the text and numbers found in the frame name columns. If ito hindi pa rin kumana, then I will stop. I will move on to another scene. I'll move on back to the Figma AI file, and then I'll go to make prototype because I think that's also like an interesting thing. Oh, okay. Let's see if it. Oh, sales by barangay. Oh, it's using the data. Oh, for decoy design, so nangingi ng extra yung client. Oo, pwede. Tignan nga natin, ano pa bang i-change niya dito? It looks similar to the first one that it made. Oh my God, medyo bumagal. Ayun, okay.
That's true.
Teka.
It does look
Yeah, it
about the
looks,
same.
it's essentially the same. But then,
Yeah.
it also goes to show how similar things are. If it works,
Yeah.
it works. So I guess ganun lang din naman nila ginawa yun.
Mm.
And it is based on, what do you call this? It is based on the wireframes that were available yung allowed lang within the space. I think Figma personally is also like exploring it. Like, don't quote me on this, but or just like this is just my my thoughts on it. Na parang maybe they're also still unsure how to go about this particular feature because it is kind of controversial. So,
Mhm.
but it's just mostly using things that are within its control. So let's see. Sales by barangay, 30,000. Meron bang 30,000 doon sa dataset? Let us move this dataset closer. And then, double check. Kunyari, ano to? Kunyari, estudyante. Check natin. May 30,000 ba dyan? Wala. So, okay. So, ginamit niya lang yung link. So, now it listened to me. Kasi nung una, I said, um, highlighting the high sales in the barangay. Pero, hindi niya indicate yun sa loob. And then now it actually listened to me for some reason. I don't know what changed here, but I guess long story short for this is hindi siya masyadong that useful for like medyo complex things. Which I guess
Okay.
is fine because it's just the
Yeah.
first step for like things naman. Okay, let's go back here. Okay. Let's try this anong may specific ba kayo na gusto subukan or no? Eto. So we tried remove background na technically replace content as well. And then also first draft.
I think
May
yeah, the make you mentioned the make prototype.
make prototype.
Yeah.
So I just jumped into yung demo ni Figma. Pero nagamit ko na rin to for actual designs that we had for like na may components kami na defined as these are the buttons, these are the fields, or etc. Gumana din naman siya.
Mhm.
Nagawa naman yan ng prototype. Pero mas gusto ko yung ginagawa ko mostly because it has animations. Let's try to do this together. So try it out, open the actions menu, and then make prototype. Make prototype. Yeah, so it's just gonna do the noodling stuff. So, hahanapan niya lang. Yun lang. Yun lang naman yung gagawin niya eh.
Okay.
Nag-click lang naman
And
siya
it
ng
only
stuff.
applies to it has to be a section that
I think
he
so,
selects.
yeah. It has to be a section. So, pag pin-review mo yung... I have to select this particular scene. What? What? What happened? Why did it go there? The hell? Where is it? Where is it? Ayun. The hell? Why did it go there? Review.
Hmm.
Ano
Okay.
nangyari? What's happening?
Baka yung responsive kaya sa upper right. Diba
Ba't siya
may
naka-TV? Naka-TV mode yung
Ah,
naka-TV mode yung prototype.
seems
Ano
legit,
ba
bro.
ano ba yung is this Android? Is this iPhone? Ano bang size nito? Meron ba siyang size? Wala siyang size. God damn it. Okay. Anyway, ano ba size niya? Okay, it's not even nice sizes. So I will just make it custom size. Or you know what? I'm gonna make it fit into iPhone 14. Kunyari. Sige, preview natin. Okay. Back. Okay. Continue. Okay. Diyan
okay.
na. Tapos
Very
na.
straightforward.
It's
Yeah.
very I mean, their demonstration was also very straightforward. I'm gonna try to see if there's something I can show.
You
I was
actually,
just
I
hmm?
have something, Chi. Can you check sa Sandbox Bigla impromptu wow page
Oh,
again?
wow, ayan. Okay, let's see. Let's try. Let's try. Sige, I will just move this dito sa baba. Sige. So,
Oh my
let
god.
us understand this together. It's now a very complex prototype. So, this one is a table. What
Mhm.
do they need to do, Andre? What is the expected interaction?
So, diba may data? Yeah, you can follow me muna. So, diba there's data here. So,
Yeah.
the expectation is the user needs new data. So, they'll press make an API call button,
Okay.
and it will allow them to open a new screen for making an API call. And then they'll
Okay.
fill up the fields.
Cell type stuff. Okay.
Yeah. And then when they press on the check available data, that's when this comes up. Like, here are the available data based on your
Mm.
request. Select the ones you need and then press proceed. I think I can make a new
Tas yun na
screen.
yun. Okay.
Uh,
Sige. So
Do
for now, we'll keep it like with this one, but I think I will make a duplicate then that
you
has the individual steps that you said na parang dapat may state ito na wala yung okay, I'm not gonna look at the details of that.
Oh,
I-hide ko
go
na.
lang. It's all fake naman.
Okay, okay, that's good. Na parang wala pa yung table, wala pang laman siya.
Yeah. I
Sige.
think I can help do that then.
Sige, can you do that for this one? Ay, ayan, sige. Okay. Ito na lang muna yung itetesting ko. Let's make prototype. Make prototype. Okay. Let's see. So, nakakatawa tong pagde-demo ko because I'm not really actually doing anything. I'm just typing something.
Oh,
Oh,
whoa,
okay.
interesting.
Okay, so what happened? So, it did not connect anything
Okay.
from the screen, but it did connect this one here. And then cancel made it all go back here. So it detected that this was the first screen, but it didn't detect that this one. Like, teka nga, try natin. Preview natin to. Oh my God, my nose.
Side note, one thing I planted there is iniba ko yung file names ng mga frames. Kasi initially it was like fake data 1, fake data 2, fake data 3. Pero iniba
Ah,
ko siya, bale.
okay. Okay, so a few things. As someone who does use or does create prototypes for like stuff, wala siyang. I guess it's not really something you to expect from something created lang na mabilisan din. But walang mga finifix na anything dito. Like, ito hindi niya dinetect na it's a header, so it should just be
Hmm.
there all the time. Hindi niya then, I guess, naintindihan na this is the button that you should click. So maybe we can try to aid it. Navigate. What? Navigate to API call. Okay. On click. Kasi may click na dito. So, ha! Kasi na galing siya sa previous prototype. Okay. Sige. Sabihin natin ganyan. How does this look? Okay. Ah. Okay. Tapos dati kasi, they would just have instant as the transition. So, para siyang slides lang din na pa isa-isa. But now, I
Mhm.
guess they do have.
Smart
Okay, hindi,
animate.
joke. No, no, no. I think that was me pala. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
Disregard what I said. Ayan. But, okay. I guess we can keep it. Kasi that's generally what we would do. So, you would use prototype, make prototype if you are trying to make a prototype na mabilisan and wala ka ng oras to like do all of the noodling yourself. At least if you are within the bounds of Figma. Other people would argue that it would be faster to create code na lang as a prototype than mismo. And in some cases, that is true. And technically, that is available in ChatGPT, Claude. I don't know if Copilot is smart enough to create that for yourself. But I believe Claude can generate code for you. Tas kailangan mo
Mhm.
lang din i-make sure na it works. Technically, yung sa, na-mention siya earlier, yung projects Ante. So, meron akong Claude kasi. And that's what I normally use. Minsan, I would just ask it random questions. And then it would create, it would create React code out of the blue. And I'm like, why are you, I didn't ask for React code. Gaganon pa ako. Na parang, pero natutuwa na lang ako kasi if as I see it, parang okay siya. Na parang it actually works or it shows the data that I was asking for. Nagbigay lang siya ng extra. Sige. Okay, I see what you're saying. Is this more enough of a step or more immediate steps dapat? Okay. Let's see if this works. Let's see. Okay na yan. Nag-iba ka naman eh. Ay, eto API call. Ay, wait lang. Why is this disabled? Kasi wala pa siyang laman. Okay, ito, build. Okay. Para lang, kunyari, it's the actual malinis na prototype. Sige, let's do make prototype one more time.
So I imagine it has to be like the flow has. It's very important that it goes from left to right. That's how it reads.
Pwede.
Like,
We could, gusto niya subukan na right to left char kung saan-saan ano. We can see. Wala akong ano eh, wala akong dummy data dito. Maybe we can explore that separately in our own files as we
okay.
get ano. Figma AI. Pero, ayun. Okay, so hindi na naman yun na-detect. So, I don't know if this is something that you could also use for yourself. Top of mind lang naisip ko. Maybe that's also a sign na hindi siya naiintindihan. Na parang, oh, you have to click here. Di ba may something yun about, not to say na this is like good way to check if your designs are working or not. I'm just saying lang na it could be something na you could use as like a reference. Pero siya obvious. So, maybe I could do something else to make it obvious. But if it's not needed naman, since obviously AI is not your stakeholder, it's not your customer, so you don't have to get its opinion. So, ayun. Eto din, pansinin natin, wala siyang nilagay dito sa cancel. So, hindi niya na-detect yung cancel dito. What is this? Okay. Anyway, sige, I'll just keep this. Then we can
Nasa
go back.
pababa yung right to left.
Ay, yung right to left. O sige,
Ah,
try natin.
interesting.
Wait. Try
Okay.
natin. Wait lang. I'm just gonna remove all of the possible ways na magkaroon ng interactions yung... Sige, last.
Hmm.
So, dapat... Right, okay. Right to left
Yeah,
siya.
it should start from the right.
Sige nga. Make prototype. One last. Pag ito nag-left to right, it's very... I'm not gonna say the word.
That's how you know that you have to
Ah!
structure it in a way. Interesting. It skipped.
It skipped. Okay.
Actually,
Kasi
that,
kasi, this actually makes sense. Kasi
yeah.
ito yung screen na dapat niyang pupuntahan. Eh, hindi mo kasi nilagay yung screen na 'to na enabled yung button. So, I guess
Ay, oo nga.
nabobo siya.
Ah,
Okay. So,
sige.
akala natin puwede nating guluhin 'tong si Figma AI pero hindi pala. Sige, babalik na ako dito since I guess time check, it's just 10 minutes before 9. So, papakita ko na lang siguro mabilis si make an image. This is the pinakamatagal na one. I guess I will try to just go make an image. Ay, by the way, this make an image thing, pwede din kasi siya ma-access technically dito. So, you can also make an image from here. So, if you do have access to it. So, very, very nilalagay na talaga ni Figma siya sa kung saan-saan. Pumpkin pie. Tas, I think they're using OpenAI, but maybe
Like
I could be
Dolly.
wrong.
Is that?
Yeah, DALL-E, I think yung sa make image nila.
Ah. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Looks real. Ito yung usually nakikita kong example nila. So, sige. Sabihin na natin yan na yan. Okay. Pwede naman mag-make changes, pero I don't wanna do that na. So, okay. So, let's make an image. So, na-demo ko na siya. Lastly, etong rename layers. You know, this is kind of fun. Actually, let's do that with your actual file. Silip tayo sa file mo.
Bad, bad news ba? Ay, hindi. Ito hindi.
Hindi, may
Yeah, di ko
mga
pa
frame,
nila-name.
may
Okay.
mga frame ka. Sige, tingnan natin kung ina-name niya lahat. Meron pa bang mas magulo na file? Oh, maayos yung mga
Uh,
component na name.
Yeah, medyo
Kasi, kasi
matyaga
galing
ako
to sa...
mag-rename actually.
Okay, hindi ka pala magandang example.
I
Kasi ganun
am,
din ako. Okay, sige. Anyway, teka, balikan natin 'to. Asan na ba 'yun? Ito yung maraming ano. Ayan, kunyari 'yan. This is I think the default for a lot of people. I am not like this, pero nagne-name din kasi ako ng layers ko. Pero sige, let's try. Let's try to rename layers. So now it detected na may 17 items sa loob and now it's actually
ooh.
doing it itself. Okay. Then, let's
Okay.
rename layers. Nasabi din ata, I think ni may remark na dito sa chat na it was pretty useful. And it is useful, lalo na if, kunyari may mga name ka naman. So, balikan ko yung nakita ko kanina. Saan na ba yan? Meron kang mga na-name pero may mga iba na hindi. So, try natin din dito. Rename layers.
Also, because
Tignan natin.
I don't usually use. I wasn't
Hmm?
usually using Figma in my company before. Only now. Am I working with Figma more? Is it normal that there's like frame
Yeah.
900,000, that kind of thing? That's a thing.
uh, um, the, designers won't let you know, but it's actually just common.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yes, yes. But then if you name your layers, you can set up your prototypes easier. I
Hmm.
mean, assuming like or can also let your devs know this is the behavior of the thing or something. It's yeah, it's you doing due diligence. But then, not everyone is like that. That's why this could be helpful. So,
Okay. Yeah.
pansin natin din pala, so it did rename some of the not named stuff, but it also renamed some of the already labeled stuff. Like, I think it would rename the layers that were not renamed by you. Like it was not user entered. So I think notice 4 was not renamed because it's notice 4. I don't know why
There's
rectangle
rectangle for
55
55.
455 was not named. But then I'm assuming it's because maybe na-copy paste ito tapos na mukhang na-edit siya somewhere. Maybe about its
Hmm.
metadata. Pero napansin ko din, pati yung buttons, it also changed it. Instead of it being the instance name, usually it would just be, let's see what the name of the button was originally. It was just,
Hmm.
ayan, button primary, button secondary. It made it into readable names. So this is actually the good practice. Um, Kahit kunyari yung components niyo is already named as such, parang you rename it more para lang it's within context of your screens. But then, that's kind of overkill na, and that usually just works for like bigger companies where you really have to talk to a lot of people or you have to over communicate even through your data or your design. So yeah, yun lang. So that's rename layers. Okay. Okay, last. Ano pa ba yun? Hindi lang natin na-explore dito is visual search pati text tools. The text tools, I don't think I need to demonstrate this anymore because it's just
Hmm.
rewrite this.
Yeah.
It's just
Just like
rewrite
standard.
this, make this Jejemon. Ayan, sige. Try nga natin. Alam ba kaya niya? Alam niya kaya
Do
yun,
we know
Jejemon?
what? Wow. Okay. Is this also using ChatGPT?
Basta OpenAI. Basta alam
Okay.
ko na they have ang alam ko lang is like Figma is talking with them. So, go to the feature.
Hmm.
No, make this Uwu fine. Cringe ang putik. No!
Oh my goodness. Okay. It works.
I, I
Yeah.
made cursed content. I'm going away. Alright, last visual search. Visual search. Okay, let's do this. Try nga natin. Control K. And then search for similar. Find more like this. Oh, okay. It's actually like
Oh,
going through my. Why do I have this
wow.
sample prototype with this space? Hey, it's Nico. And I have, okay. Nice. Yeah, so you can do parang Google Lens search, I guess, na within Figma na din. Na it can go through all of your files. Or, I guess, your team files, depende na lang. Okay, so that was the demonstration of Figma AI. I will stop sharing na. And it's like 4 minutes to 9. Yes. So, I guess we are done. Do you have
Okay.
any parting words, Andre? Are you okay? Uwi ka na ba? Kasi nasa office
Yeah.
ka pa.
Well, kakain muna ako.
Okay.
But
Nice.
thanks for listening, everyone. I think a lot left na rin, but if you
Yeah,
want
that's fine.
to connect, my LinkedIn was there. I can type it in again ulit in a bit.
Yeah,
But
we can
yeah,
send it as well then as an email kasi meron namang email that would be
so
sent out for and for everyone who is still here, thank you so much for staying, and merong feedback form na masasend sa mga emails niyo in a bit. Naka-schedule siya I think by 9, 10 maybe. I will double check. Pero basta it's just there. So your feedback means a lot to us, and syempre for future events in 2025 and beyond, we can improve our content and not make Jejemon uwu-fied data. That's just demonstrated here. But yeah, okay. Francis, do you have any other lasting
Uh,
words?
Thank you
Parting
for
words?
everybody for making this possibly the best Figma Friday of December 2024 of
Wow!
Friends of Figma. Yes,
Wait.
it's the absolute best. Nothing compares. So,
Yes, because it's the last and
yeah.
this is our first and last virtual. Ano, joke. Di pala. Ewan ko. Basta it's the last. Yeah, tama naman. Okay, sige. So, we'll stop recording.